I used to think I was cursed. Not like spiritually or anything like that, but I used to think I was cursed because I would discover a talent, a gift, a skill, get really good, and then it would like drift and dissolve away. And then I would have to like pick up a new gift, pick up a new skill, and try something else. And again, I'd be like, oh my God, I'm so good at this. And then I'd get good, produce some, positive effects in my life, and then it would drift away. At times, you may feel like your creativity or your talent is gone. It's not gone, but you did drain it. Like maybe you're chasing highs, you're avoiding lows. Maybe you're too idle. Maybe you refuse to be idle. We all experience this. I know people who like were so amazing at making music. And then like 10 years later, like they don't really make good music anymore. It's like, what happened? Like the talent's just gone. But then you have artists, you have people who just continue to multiply. Like, think of like Tyler, the Creator. Like he's just been getting better and better and better. J. Cole, Bobby McFerrin, he's alive. But like when you watch his works throughout his whole career, he just got better and better and better. And I was like, what is it that allows people to continue to get better? Because I never want my talent and my gifts to erode. And I figured it out years ago. And it was structure. It was discipline. It was practice. Well, of course, that's important. But often we think that if you just do something more, it means that you will get better. Or if you just do it long enough. But again, I just told you, I know people been making music for 10 years. They got worse. Why does that happen for some? Well, think about if you go to the gym, right? You go to the gym, and if you don't, add a few more reps, each week or every other week, a little bit more weight, and you don't measure what you're doing, it's very possible that a year later, you're going to look exactly the same, right? You'll just maintain what you already have. Same thing goes with our art, with our creations, with whatever we are doing. We have to train like an artist, right? Now, I know we're supposed to train like an athlete, but I want us to understand that no, artists train as well. But we have our own ways, right? We're dancing through structure and play. It's the law of rhythm. The law of rhythm teaches us, like in the Tao, they got, in Buddhism, yin and yang, the Gita talks about, detachment from the outcomes. The Bible says, there is a season for everything. Nature shows us there's winter, there is spring, there is summer, there is fall. And you can't cling on to either one. There is a law of rhythm to life. And often the reason why some creatives multiply and others don't is the ones that don't honor the law of rhythm burn out, or they remain idle in their gifts. Your gift is so God-given. Like it was given to you. That's why certain things just come natural to you. You don't have to do nothing for it. It was just coded into your DNA. But the way that you honor that gift is by becoming extremely intimate with it, getting to know it so much that you extract all the greatness out of you. You need structure. You need frameworks. You need to understand that some seasons you're going to be in high play, but some seasons you're going to be in a different place, and you need to refine. You need discipline. You need to practice. Bobby McFerrin, one of my favorites, what he would do is he would notice, when he really want to extract something new out of himself, that he needed a framework. He needed structure. He would go into the studio every single day, and he's like, I'm going to generate ideas. But he didn't stop there. It's not like he was just saying, I'm just going to create good ideas today. No, he said every 30 minutes, I'm going to generate a new idea for 4 hours. Framework, structure. And every 30 minutes, that's what he did. So every day he left the studio with 8 new ideas. Once it hit 30 minutes, he had to move on to the next. Regardless if he loved what he was working on or not, that's the structure and the framework he created for himself. And then over time, he had all these ideas. I think it was like a year and a half, 2 years later. And then he produced an album because he had all these experimental ideas. It was a practice. J. Cole, same thing. He had a writing jail. Every morning he would write for 5-minute writes. Boom, boom, boom. Get to the next one. 5 minutes. Boom, boom, boom. Get to the next one. 5-minute songs. Boom, boom, boom. Right? Just practicing. right? Seems mechanical, seems like a system, seems like too much structure, and that's going to rob us of our creativity. But no, structure actually creates freedom for your creations, right? You have to honor the law of rhythm. Again, I remember one of the most beautiful moments is recognizing one of your gifts and your talents. Like I remember the moment I made my first beat. I was activated. I didn't even understand the software I was using. I was using Reason and Pro Tools, but like I'm the type of individual, you just give me a piece of equipment, you just give me something, I'll figure it out. Like I don't want the manual. That's the type of person I am. And I just go all in because talent will give you wings. Like literally, it will give you wings and you can soar kind of high. When I first started doing videos, within the first 6 months, I was already working with a major record label. And then 3 months after that, I was working with a major platinum artist, traveling the world with him, shooting like music videos for Dubai Princes, in like crazy scenes and circles, all within 1 year of starting something. That is the power of your natural talents and gifts, that it can literally give you wings and you jump off the cliff and start soaring. But structure, discipline, training like an artist teaches you how to maintain that flight and soar higher. So what naturally happened for me with music, once that passion and that motivation started to fizzle out and I reached my peak, I met the reality that, I have a lack of music theory knowledge. Like I have ideas in my head, but I can't quite get them out. And because at the time I struggled to like learn through that resistance and, pick up the manual, I would chase the next thing and start something else because I love to dance in the excitement of something new. A lot of people do this with dating. They love to dance in the excitement of something new. When you first meet somebody, what happens? Man, the attraction alone can keep you infatuated. They could be on your mind all day. But that doesn't last forever. Months go by and the next thing you know, you got to see if you have compatibility. You have to go deeper. You even have to go through conflict with them, revealing, sides of each other you don't like to make it to that next point, to actually develop a stronger foundation. And if you don't, the connection erodes. Same thing goes with our art, with our business, whatever we're trying to do. If we do not put that structure and a little bit of discipline and practice in those frameworks to get to the next level, it will erode. Why? Because we're not honoring our gift. We're not honoring it. It was God-given to us. The way that you honor it is by molding it, is by refining it. Think about like a marriage. I've often heard this before, that people who are married with like multiple kids, it's a busy life. I can't imagine. I have one daughter, so like multiple kids, married, a lot of responsibility. They often will plan their intimate nights. Sounds boring. Sounds like kind of a little bit like too much structure. But if they don't, they know 3 months, 6 months, 9 months can go by and they haven't been intimate. Why? Because when the time comes, they're tired. But if they set that schedule, they both know, hey, Thursday night, prepare. Make sure you're in the mood. Make sure you're ready because this is what's going down, right? So they keep the connection strong. But also, if the whole thing is too systemized and they never lean into some of that spontaneous energy, the connection will erode, right? We see it happen all the time. It happens in relationships and it can happen with ourselves, with our gifts as well. I used to think, because I'm so good at improv, back in the day when I used to do videography and music videos, man, you could like show me a song and I'll be like, let's shoot the video right now. And artists would be like, what are you talking about right now? Like, I'm like, we're going to shoot it right now. I'm like, grab my camera, I got some lenses on me. I'm like, let's go. And I would just take them through a neighborhood and I'd be like, I love that location. Let's do this. And then boom, once I delivered the work, they're like, oh my God, how did you do that? And I was like, man, I called it like guerrilla videography. Like you're just in the field. And I love that. Same reason why I love live streaming. I love improv, right? So I used to think that if I had structure, it would rob me of my freedom. But then I learned structure creates freedom. my favorite artist, Bobby McFerrin. And he's not just my favorite artist because of the music, although I love the music, but he's my favorite artist because of his spirit, his essence, his perspective, his wisdom. But what grabbed my attention from him most was his ability to walk onto stage in front of thousands. I've seen stadiums, and he's just like, all right, where am I going to go with this today? He improvs. So you would think that he's just winging it. But because of the structure, because of the discipline, because of the constant practice and refinement, it's actually given his expression so much freedom. He's that good that he can just walk onto a stage and be like, where am I going to go with this? He literally improvs, brings a crowd into the audience, they sing with him, and he just generates songs and melodies on the spot and just does what he wants to do. That is mastery. That is something I want to be able to do. Not with singing, because I'm not a singer. God knew not to give me that ability, because I would not even be talking. I would just be singing my ass off all day, every day. But like, I want to be able to walk onto a stage and be like, you know what? I was going to talk about this, but the energy in here is feeling quite different. I'm going to go in this direction, right? But structure will create that freedom for me. Discipline, frameworks, right? We're not just doing the thing more and doing it longer. We're finding practices and creating frameworks to get better. If you watch some of my older videos, someone said this the other day on live stream, and I was so happy. Someone took note. They're like, your voice has changed a lot. They're like, it's changed a lot. I'm like, yeah, I know. Like, if you just go back and watch the most popular video on my YouTube channel, or like one of the first ones, in the last like 4 or 5 years, my voice has evolved, right? Why? Well, I've gotten to know myself more in this expression. So I've settled myself into my voice, right? Now it's more natural. I've learned my cadence. I've learned my tone. I've learned my volume. I've learned how to sit comfortably with the silence at times as well. Or actually right now I'm noticing in a lot of my videos, I will say the word right after a word when there's a pause between one sentence and the next sentence. I might have said it in this video. I won't know until I edit it. But basically, when I watch my videos and I notice that right now, I don't like it, because I'm like, you're putting an unnecessary word in between these two sentences. It's something very small, but now I am consciously making an effort to enhance my speech again and get comfortable with those little gaps even more. So when I go for drives, I'm speaking out loud. I get ChatGPT in the voice to like quiz me on certain topics. And I'm just talking out loud, recording myself, listening back, because I want to be a really good speaker. One of the best oracle speakers on the planet. It's one of my goals. What is that going to take? Structure, discipline, practice, but also play. Also play. To the point when you make a mistake, you're not like, oh, you're like, you laugh it off, because you're playful with your expression as well. I want every single one of us to realize that being good will just not be enough if you want to be a professional. Truly, it won't be enough, because of AI is going to make everything good enough. All videos will be looking good enough. Writing will all read good enough. Accounting, all that stuff, Excel, I don't really care about that, but it'll all be good enough, right? So the only things that are truly going to stand out are going to be the things that are great. And you have a gift. You know you do. You have a talent, and you're getting to know it, or you already have gotten to know it really well, but you feel like, I feel like I'm kind of just staying in the space that I am in. Now you may be called to honor the law of rhythm and refine. If these are things that you're quite interested in, I want you to sign up for my newsletter, because these are also things I'm going to be sliding into the newsletter, the chill letters. It's on my website, which is powered by our sponsor of the day, Squarespace. So whether you're just getting started or managing a growing brand, Squarespace makes it easy to create a beautiful website, engage with your audience, and sell everything from products to services, or even your own time, all in one place, all on your own terms. I have been using Squarespace for over a decade. First starting with I had a wedding business at one point, all the way to me now being a full-time creator because they're always implementing a lot of new features and tools. First one that I like is the design intelligence. It's a powerful blend of 2 decades of industry-leading design expertise and cutting-edge AI technology, unlocking your strongest creative potential. Design intelligence helps you build a website that's not only beautiful, but truly personalized to your brand. And once you display your services, your business, your offerings, your art, it's time to get paid, and Squarespace makes it easy. Onboarding is quick with Squarespace payments, and you can start receiving payments in just a few clicks. Plus, offer your customers popular payment methods like Klarna, Apple Pay, and more. And you got to check out the latest AI enhanced website builder from Squarespace, Blueprint AI. After just a few questions, Blueprint AI crafts a fully custom on-brand website for your business, complete with curated premium quality content matched to your style. The beautiful thing about this is you can bring your vision to life right away. No more resistance, no more procrastination. If you're ready to take your online presence to the next level, head to squarespace.com for a free trial. And when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/Heinz to save 10% off your first purchase. I can't wait for you to even extract more out of yourself, right? Because creating, building the business, whatever you are applying yourself to, it is a healing modality, a self-love journey, and a tool to get to know yourself on a deeper level. This is why we have to honor the law of rhythm. If we don't, we will stay stuck in one season. I think Tyler, the Creator, actually said it perfectly. Create like a child, edit like a scientist. A child creates with curiosity, play. They're not thinking about what they're going to get out of playing. Right? Like a child doesn't think about what they're going to get out of playing. They're riding their bike. They're just riding the bike. They're drawing. They're just drawing. They're not thinking about what they're getting. They're just in the discovery of their play. And then a scientist measures, has structures and systems and frameworks to try to arrive at truth, and they refine and they do peer review, right? They're getting advice. Hey, check out this research paper, and someone identifies where they were wrong so they can perfect it and become better. And that is the same thing we need to do with our art, with our creations. You want to be dedicated to becoming the best you, and you have to look at this talent and this gift as something that is almost like an undefeatable force, but it's also like a baby as well. Like, it's so powerful. It can change your life and the life of many of others. I've experienced it myself, but at the same time, it's fragile if you don't take care of it and you don't honor it. Again, your gift is God-given, but you have to get intimate with it, know it on a deeper level to truly discover the depths of it. A couple of things we should do is, one, ask yourself, what kind of season am I in, right? If you realize that you're kind of bored with what you're doing, that may be a call that you need to challenge yourself. You've mastered the domain that you're in. So maybe you need to create some structure. Prince would literally make a song every day, multiple songs a day. And often he went with his first take because he believed that was the rawest of his expression. And the people that worked around him, they were used to making a song in a week or 2 weeks. But working with Prince, they all elevated their game. Because he was operating at a whole different level, and he created a legacy because of it. What kind of legacy are you going to create for yourself, right? How are you going to honor your gift? Maybe you are in a season of rest. I've talked about in another video, sometimes you will actually step away from your gift because that's the season that you're in. Maybe it's winter time, and now you're creating good energy offline and perspective and observations, and you'll come back and put it into it. What I'm talking about is not, hey, just be a machine every single day, structure, rigid. No, I'm saying sometimes you have to go into seasons where that is the truth, create frameworks and structures. And some seasons you're more play, some seasons you're more rest. But it's the law of rhythm. The tide goes in, the tide comes out. The night is going to come tonight. Tomorrow the sun will rise again, right? When it's a good day, we might as well be happy because a bad day will come. When it's a bad day, we might as well pour some tea, have some gratitude, because a good day is right around the corner. You understand? And when we're high up, we might as well be humble, because there will be a time when we're kind of down again. And that's where we are hopeful. This is how life simply works. Never be too attached to any season, but ask yourself, what season am I in, and work with it. In the Tao, they call it wu wei, right? Non-action or effortless action. It doesn't mean that you're not doing anything. It means that you're so deeply aligned with life that you are just being, that you are in the natural order of things, that you've aligned yourself, your purpose, with your destiny. You're harmonizing with life. And now things just seem to work for you. Why? Because you're moving in the direction that matters. You're in your rhythm. The right people will join you on your path. The right opportunity will come right at that last second when you think about quitting, but it gives you the affirmation you need to keep going. That happens when you honor the law of rhythm. So what season are you? You know what's crazy? I was about to say right. I was about to say right because I knew I was going into my last point, and then I caught myself. You see how we're perfecting things in real time because we take note. What do you want to get better at? What do you want to get better at? And then create a drill, a framework. Maybe you're a painter and you usually use bright, colorful colors because your culture is full of color. But maybe you go through a season where you're like, you know what, I'm only gonna use black, white, and gray. It's not really your style, but you're gonna try it out. But then through that, you realize, man, you discover I'm not a painter, but you discover new ways, to stroke that brush, and you discover another style of, sketching, and you actually love it, and it enhances your original style, or you're able to go on a side quest and create a whole new lane for yourself. If you're a videographer, right? Change up the lighting, try it out, start to play with some sound design a little bit more, create some practices every single day. You say, hey, I'm going to create a piece of music. And then at the end of the month, I'm going to decide if I have an album here. Create the frameworks and experiment. Ask yourself what season you are in, and you will realize that now you're flowing with life. You're just being. You're not doing anything. You're actually just being in it. And because of that, you still get the results that you want. But you're not even focused on that because you're so immersed in the process. Remember, your talent will give you wings. You recognize, oh my God, I got a talent. You got wings. You jump off. Now you're soaring. But without structure, without discipline, right? Without practice and refinement, you will naturally soar down to the bottom. It is structure, practice, discipline, and refinement that teaches you how to sustain flight and how to fly even higher, right? And the beautiful thing is, you get the opportunity of recognizing your greatness in real time. And you don't know in hindsight, everything is going to be more than all right. I'll see you next time. Thank you for joining me for another chill conversation, the #1 chill spot on the planet. Cheers.